Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to our 1979 Mets replay. We are in Montreal. We're visiting the Expos. We're at Olympic Stadium, 1979. This is game, not sure what game this is. Let me take a quick peek. 104, 105. Let me go back. Wait, gotta stop the AC. Let me see. First game against the Expos. This is game 105. So I am correct on this, and it's played August 3rd, 1979. So basically, we're 2 months away from completing the season, which is mind-boggling. Now, not doing that well. We'll check right now how we're doing here. I'm going to back out of this using iScore to keep track. Go to Team Manager. It's going to show me the wins and losses for the Mets. We are 34 and 70. 34 wins and 70 losses. And in actuality, the Mets at game 104 were 45 and 58. So we're basically approximately 12 games worse than they actually were. And I don't know what to tell you outside of that. I'm trying my darndest to have them win a couple of games, but it's not all that easy. So anyway, we're going to get started. I'm going to look at a couple little goodies that I received. Game Manager, back to the game. We are going to score game, and it's ready to roll. I'm pretty sure you can see it. You can see the dice tray. Stealth dice tray. Now I received these, I don't know what they are. They're kind of paper thin cartoon, a cartoon set of 1979 greats. Now I want to set the American League separate from the National League, so I can, Andre Thornton, I believe he's national. Rusty Staub, Detroit. Ron LaFleur, American League. George Brett, American League. Because I'm not playing the American League, so Rod Carew, that one's torn a little bit. Looks like the paper that gum wrappers. Oh, these are gum wrappers. That's what they are. These are old school gum wrappers, and I can see the creases there. At one time, this was folded over a stick of gum. And these are pretty cool. You have cartoon, and these, I mean, the actual art is great on these. They actually look like the player. I mean, every caricature looks like the player. Mitchell Page, the A's. Leon Roberts, the Mariners. Al Oliver, Texas. Wow, okay. Here are the National League. Okay, National League comes up now. I'm going to put this aside. Let me put these aside, and we're going to put them back in their protective sleeve. They're made out of a pretty durable material, almost waxy. And these are cool. I got these online somewhere just because I thought the art was so great, and it would just add a little bit of flavor to my 79 experience. So you have Bob Horner, the National League. Let's see if we have anybody playing today. Phil Niekro, Dave Kingman, the Cubs, Johnny Bench, the Reds, Tom Seaver, the Reds, J.R. Richard, the Astros, Steve Garvey, Dodgers, Reggie Smith, Dodgers, Ross Grimsley, the Expos. There you go. We may see Ross Grimsley. Craig Swan. We may see Craig Swan. So those are two potential players that will. Oh, the Cobra, Dave. I call him the Puma all the time. Ted Simmons. Then you have Dave Winfield. You have Jack Clark, Vita Blue, also with the Giants, and Eddie Murray with the Orioles. And that would be in the American League. So let's put that with the American League players. And anyway, so we're going to keep those around in case Grimsley or Swan, and I think they're going to appear simply because it's a 4-game set. So Swan should pitch at some point, and Grimsley should pitch. Let's see if he's included in the card set, which almost everyone is. Let's see Ross Grimsley's card, what that looks like. Where is Grimsley? And there he is, Ross Grimsley, left-hander. Was 10-9 with a 5.35 ERA. Hopefully we'll be seeing him. And what does it say about Grimsley? Ross was a 20-game winner for the Expos in 1978 with 19 complete games. Inside baseball. With bases empty, pitcher must deliver ball within 20 seconds of receiving it. That's funny. All right. Anyway. And for today, Mets starter is going to be Kevin Coble. And I happen to have Coble around here. Got some cards as well, some baseball cards for the Mets, so I can see what they look like every so often. And let's see where Coble, there he is, Kevin Coble. He'll be pitching today for the Mets, and you can see him there. Lefty, had a pretty good season with the Mets in '79. Not going to be able to read this, too tiny. '79 was the last year he was with the Mets. Had a looks like a 3.50 ERA. So anyway, Kevin Coble's the pitcher for the Mets, and for the Astros, it's going to be Steve Rogers. Going to get going here at Olympic Stadium, and it's going to be Frankie Taveras leading off for the Mets, followed by John Stearns, the catcher, Lee Mazzilli, the center fielder, batting third, Willie Montanez in the fourth spot, Richie Hebner batting fifth, playing third base, Ed Kranepool in right field. He's batting sixth, batting seventh, Joel Youngblood. Batting eighth is Doug Flynn at second base, and Kevin Coble, the pitcher, batting ninth. Here's the roll. We're using payoff pitch, chartless payoff pitch. No charts needed. All right, that's a 6. We look at the 6. It's in play 17 against a righty. Steve Rogers is a righty. In play 17, that's going to be a ball that's grounded up the middle and through into center field for a single. So Frankie Taveras, always a danger to run. He's a 6 to get his lead, and nope, does not manage the 6th. John Stearns, that's an 8, a tough 50. Tough 50, ground ball third base. It may be a double play, and it will be 5, 4, 3, round the horn double play. Round that 5, 4, 3, and runner is out. It was Parrish to Scott to Perez, and it's Lee Mazzilli the batter. 2 outs. Top of the first. It's a 9. That's patient, a patient 31. That's going to be a base on balls. Mazzilli's on at first. He's a threat to steal. Let's see if he can get a lead. And that's a 7. It does not. He needed a 5. Willie Montanez. That's a 7. Tough. A tough 27. It's going to be a strikeout. Montanez down on strikes. Retires aside. And the Mets leave 1. Actually, the 1 that they had on base was wiped out by the double play. So they leave none. At the end of half an inning of plays, no score, and the Expos coming to bat. Lineup for the Expos. Let me just back this up just a little bit here. I think I can pull that off. All right. The Expos are going to bring up Warren Cromartie in left field, Rodney Scott batting second at second base, Andre Dawson, center fielder, batting third, Tony Perez, cleanup spot, first base. The Big Red Machine, Tony Perez, by the way. Gary Carter, future Met, catcher, batting fifth. Batting sixth is Ellis Valentine, right field. Larry Parrish, playing third base, batting seventh. Batting eighth is Chris Spire, shortstop, and Steve Rogers. Batting ninth, the pitcher. Let's get started. And that's a 7 off Coble's card. That's tough. A tough 43. That's going to be a strikeout. So Cromartie goes down. Swinging curveball. Got him. That's ballpark. Ballpark 39. This ballpark is 1-68 versus righties. This is Rodney Scott Batting from the right side, he's a switch hitter. So 1 to 68 puts it in the wheelhouse. We're going to roll for wheelhouse now. And wheelhouse for Scott has no home run power. Oh, versus lefty. He actually has home run power versus lefty. 1 to 20. Here goes. And 52. That's right outside of hit range. It's a grounder to third. Scooped by Hebner. Fires to first. And gets Scott by half a step. Andre Dawson, 2 outs. That's a 7. Tough again. 0-1. Strike 3. High, hard one. Gets Dawson. Side retired. After 1, no score. Top of the second. Hebner leading it off for the Mets. He steps in the box. Left-handed hitter. Third baseman. That's a 7. Tough. A tough 89. That's going to be a grounder to second base. Scott. Over to Perez. 4-3. 1 away. Eddie Kranepool. That's a 5. That's in play 79. In play 79. That's in the out range. Fly ball lifted to center. Dawson to his left. Couple of steps. Has it measured. Puts it away. 2 down. And Joel Youngblood, the batter for Ballpark. Ballpark 45. He's a righty. That's within range. Wheelhouse. There is a wheelhouse roll. See what he does with this pitch. Joel Youngblood versus a righty. 1 to 22, and that ball's gone. 93. That's fly ball, deep left field. Back goes Cromartie to the track and makes the catch. And after an inning and a half, no score. Go to the bottom of the second. It's going to be Perez, Carter, and Valentine. That's in play 40. That's an out. Ground ball, first base. Montanez takes it himself. 1 away. 3 unassisted. Gary Carter. That's a 10. Patient. A patient 80 versus a lefty. Fly ball, center field. Mazzilli there. 2 down. And Ellis Valentine. That's a 7. Tough 40. A tough 40 is a strikeout. Valentine. Oh, nope, it's not. Excuse me, I looked at the right side. It's a left-handed pitcher. Tough 40 is a line drive base hit to left field. Youngblood plays it on a hop. And Valentine is on with a single. Is he a threat to steal? He had 20, he had 11 stolen bases and 10-9 caught stealing, so that was 20 attempts basically. So he's going to try to run on a 4. He does. And it's a 6, so he does not get a lead. Larry Parrish. That's a 7. That's tough. A tough 0-6. It's a strikeout. Curveball gets him. And that retires the side. We go to the top of the third. No score. Mets at Expos, 1979, August 3rd. Doug Flynn steps into the box. He's a right-handed hitting second baseman. That's 5. In play, 53. In play, 53. And that's a fly ball to right field. Ellis Valentine towards the line, makes the catch. 1 down. Kevin Coble. Coble now is a 9 pitcher hitting card. That's a 3. That's defense. 0-2. So that's definitely either a range or an out or an error, excuse me. And it's going to be a pitcher error. So that's an error on Steve Rogers. Now let's look and see if it's a 1-base or a 2-base error. Error on the pitcher, and the pitcher throws it wild over Perez's head, rolls around in the corner. Ellis Valentine coming over, and going to second base is Coble. And he reaches second on a 2-base pitcher error. In play, error, runner on the pitcher. Done, and asked me how far he gets. He gets to second on the error. If this error had not occurred, would Kevin Coble have been out? Yes. Touch of the player who gets an assist followed by the player who erred. No. Wow, this is complicated. Hold on a second. Let's do that whole thing again. In play, error, pitcher, done. Goes to second on the same error. There you go. Okay. All right, so Kevin Coble made it to second base with 1 out. Let's have a runner in scoring position. It's Frankie Taveras. He's 1 for 1. He's singled. That's a 6 in play, 16. And that's going to be a sharp liner that drops in front of the left fielder. And it gives me a chance to score Coble from second base. But being that he's a pitcher, his speed, I think all pitcher speeds, I don't even know what his speed is, to be honest with you. Because his card is a little bit, oh wait, let me see. His speed is a 6. So we can try to score a 6. The ball was hit to left field. Who's out there? Warren Cromartie. Let's look at Warren Cromartie's arm. Let's have some fun. I've talked about this. He's a 7, so, you know what? It's early in the game. There's 1 out. That's the top of the order. Stearns and Mazzilli coming up. We're going to hold him just because. So it's going to be a single for Frank Taveras. He's on at first, and he's a threat to go. So we're going to run, and we're going to check if he can get a lead. Now, I've had discussions with this on some of the forums regarding sending guys. Throws are happening. Throws are happening, and when the guy's safe, the throw was late. And when the guy doesn't go, it's because the guy, the fielder has a good arm. So it's abstracted pretty much. Not every, you can't have a play at the plate on every in every situation, because it would just bog down the game. You wouldn't have. I mean, how many times am I going to roll for a result, right? Okay, so I mean that's my point. You can roll 100 times for a result. Okay, ball 1. Let's see. Odds is a ball and evens is a strike. All right, evens, that's strike 1, right? Okay, let's redo that again. All right, now. All right, well, that's strike 2. All right, he's 0-2 now. I mean, and then what? And then where the ball goes, and then who feels it, and his speed, and his arm strength, and all these things that you could roll for all this, but, I'm not one to want to bog the game down. I'm a box score guy. I looked, I didn't sit through the whole game every night. I looked at the box score and I saw that he had 2 hits, and I saw that the guy had an assist or whatever it was, and that was enough for me. So playing this game and playing it in half an hour, 40 minutes, is enough. And there's different games for different people who want more depth. They want to take more time doing it, and they want a deeper, more complex experience. I'm fine with some parts of the game being somewhat abstracted. I can visualize that this is happening. Every so often you get to play at the plate, or you get to play at the base. I mean, I've been thrown out going to third. I've been thrown out going home. It's happened. So it doesn't happen all the time. It happens once in a while. Anyway, all right, so Taveras on at first. Let's see if we can get a lead for him. He's a 6. And who's our catcher? Gary Carter probably has a really good arm, and I shouldn't be running that much. Let's see, Gary Carter. He's got a 2 arm. Yeah, well, let's see what happens. All right, it's a 5, so Taveras is going. And let's pull a card and see what happens. Taveras is a C. A C2. Let's take a look at the card. All the way down is a stolen base plus a potential error. Okay? So that I don't have to look at any chart right now, because all the way down is the same thing. On that card, it happens to be that way. So now we're going to look at Gary Carter's arm, and if we roll higher than his than his error rating, he's an error of 4. So a 5 or a 6 for there to be an error, and it's a 4, so there's no error. But Taveras steals second base. There he goes. Throw is not in time, so there was a throw, just not in time. There you go. He made it. All right, Johnny Stearns, second and third, 1 out. Pitch from Rogers. Oh, I had a wheelhouse right there. 8, tough. A tough 22 against a righty. That's a strikeout. Big strikeout for Rogers. Get Stearns. 2 outs now. 2 outs. Lee Mazzilli. Now Lee Mazzilli is the basically the hottest Met for the. I mean, he's the Mets' leading batter. Let's take a look at his stats for the year. Right. Lee Mazzilli is batting .336. He's got 43 RBIs. He's got 10 home runs for the Mets in 381 at bats. So iScore keeps all the stats for you, and you can just tap on the player and it'll tell you what he's doing. So if it were a little bit later in the game, I'd probably give him an intentional walk to pitch to Montanez. Montanez is nowhere near Mazzilli. Montanez batting .233 with 7 home runs and 46 RBIs. All right, 2/3 of the way through the season, pretty much. All right, so that's it. So Lee Mazzilli steps in the box. He's a switch hitter batting lefty against Rogers. Here's the pitch. That's an 11. That's in play. In play 52. And that's going to be an out. Ground ball, third base. Parrish up with it. Fires to first. And the side is retired. Mets leave 2. And after 2.5, no score. All right, it's going to be Chris Spire, shortstop, Montreal. Spire batted .250 versus lefties. That's a 7. That's tough. A tough 23. It's going to be a ball that's driven into the gap, and that's going to make it to the wall. Hustling around first is Spire, and he goes into second under the tag, and that's a leadoff double for Chris Spire. He's at second base now in scoring position for Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is going to bunt. Now Rogers is a C bunter. And we're going to pull a card. We're going to look. C says double play. Oh my goodness gracious. So it's 1. He catches. It's a pop-up. And Coble dives for it, gets up, and Spire is caught in between first, second, and third. And the throw goes to Flynn at second, and Spire's tagged out in time. So it's a 1-4 double play. 1-1-4, excuse me. So, all right, it's an out. It's a pop fly out to the pitcher. And then the pitcher is, actually, you know what? We got to do a double play on this. So it's an out, pop fly out to the pitcher. And then the runner at second is out on a double play. But it didn't. Wait a second, because we got to do the. All right, let's try this again. It's an out. Offensive batter. Let's see if there's anything more here. I'm trying to figure this out. Pop fly to the pitcher, and then I'm going to have the pitcher throw to second base. And then we're going to do out. You know what? The problem is I can do a tag. If I do a tag out, well, this was a force out, right? This was a force out or a tag out? No, it's a tag out. So I can do it this other way. So this is a little mini tutorial on iScore. I can do an out. Wait a second. An out. I can do a pop fly. Okay. Pop fly to the pitcher. Then he's going to ask me what happens to the runner on second. He's out. He's tagged out. Ask me where. 1-4. And that's it. 2 outs. Nobody on. Warren Cromartie. Okay, so that did not work out well for the Expos. And that's a 4. That's patient. A patient 64. Patient 64 against a lefty, and that's going to be in the out range. Ground ball, shortstop. Taveras to his left, throws on the run, and gets Cromartie to retire the side. After 3 innings of play, no score. Pretty good ball game here. I'm hoping the Mets can get on the board soon, get their offense going, but you never know. 9, patient 86. Patient 86, that's ground ball second base. Rodney Scott over to Perez, 4-3. One away. Richie Hebner, 7, tough. A tough 87. And that's a grounded second. Again, Scott to Perez, 2 down. And Eddie Cranepool's 0 for 1, he flied out. That's a 9. Patient, a patient 26. Patient 26 is going to be a base on balls. So Cranepool on with a walk. And it's Joe Youngblood. Now Cranepool's not one to run. He's probably, yeah, he's a 2. He had 1 caught stealing, so we'll roll it just to see if there's a snake eyes. No snake eyes. And Youngblood. That's 5. 5 is in play, and 96 in play. That's a fly ball to left center field. Cromartie's under it, and that retires the side. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. No score. At Olympic Stadium between the Mets and the Montreal Expos. The Expos are bringing up Scott, Dawson, and Perez against Kevin Coble. Coble had a .351 ERA, was 6-8 in 1979 for the Mets. Not bad in 27 games started. 8 in play 98. And that's a fly ball to left. Youngblood is out there. He makes the catch. 1 down. Andre Dawson, he's 0 for 1. He struck out. That's in play 0-5. In play 0-5. And that's going to be a ball that's pulled down the line into the corner, rattles around out there. And Dawson is around second, going for third. Here's the throw, and he is safe with a 1-out triple here in the bottom of the 4th. Andre Dawson got a hold of one. Sent a BB down the left field line into the corner. And he's on at third. In play, triple. So Dawson has some speed on him. Some wheels, if you will. And here in the 4th, the Mets are going to let the run score for the out. We just want to prevent a big inning. So Tony Perez, let's see if we can get a strikeout. 6 in play. An in-play 96. An in-play 96 is going to be a shallow fly ball. Shallow fly ball to left field, not deep enough to score Dawson. So that's 2 outs. They're respecting Youngblood's arm out there. And it's Gary Carter now. Gary Carter versus lefties bat at .256. Here's the pitch, bottom of the 4th, no score. Dawson is at third, 2 outs. Gary Carter the batter, the pitch from Coble, it's a 7. That's tough. A tough 83. Coble's going to get out of the inning. And he does. Ground ball, shortstop. Frank Taveras up with it. Fires to first. Side retired. So after 4, no score here at Olympic Stadium. August 3rd, 1979. Coble versus Steve Rogers. That's a 9. Patient. A patient 50. Oh, Doug Flynn doesn't have anything on there. That's a ground ball, third base. Parrish fires the first. Gets Flynn 5-3. Coble now. That's an 11. That's in play 75. He's a 9. And that's going to be fly ball center field. Andre Dawson coming in. Makes the catch on the run. And Frankie Taveras, who's 2 for 2, singled twice. 7, that's a tough 0-4. That's going to be a strikeout. Taveras, curveball, gets him. Down swing. No score after 4.5. We go to the bottom of the 5th. And it's Elvis Valentine leading off against Kevin Coble, the lefty. Here's the pitch. That's an 8. In play 67. In play 67. It's a ground ball, second base. Flynn to Montanez. Throws out Valentine by half a step. Parrish, who's 0 for 1, he struck out. That's a 9. In play 28 versus a lefty. That's going to be a line drive base hit to left. And Youngblood plays it on a hop, gets it in quickly. And Larry Parrish is a 3. So a 3 he goes. And there's no 3 there. It's a 5. So Parrish won't be running, and it's Chris Spire. And that's a 6 in play 44 versus a lefty. And that may be a double play. We rolled a 6, double play there, and a double play here. So it's a 5-4-3 round the horn double play. And that retires the side. Ground out. 5-4-3. And done. So Mets get out of trouble with that double play. And still no score. We go to the top of the 6th. Steve Rogers against John Stearns. 10. Patient 35. That's going to be a ball that's lined into the gap. And after it is Cromartie. Dawson picks it up, throws it in quickly, and Stearns is in with a leadoff double. John Stearns gets a hold of one, drives it into the gap. And he's on at second. And it's Lee Mazzilli now. And that's an 8. A tough 90. Tough 90. It's going to be a ground ball to short. Spire looks Stearns back to second, throws to first, and gets Mazzilli by half a step. Wooly Montanez now. Pitch to Montanez. Montanez is 0 for 2. That's a 4. Ballpark 54. Now it's 1-68 for a righty and 1-49, and that 54 is outside. So it's going to be an in play. We're going to have an in play roll here. Wooly Montanez in play 76. And that's a fly ball lifted to center field. Dawson right there puts it away. 2 down. And Richie Hebner, left-handed batter. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. The pitch from Rogers, that's an 11. In play, 64. And that's going to be a grounder to short. Spire up with it, fires to first, and this side is retired. So the Mets leave Stearns, fail to capitalize on a leadoff double. And we have no score after 5.5. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's going to be Steve Rogers leading it off. Now, I'm not even going to consider pinch hitting for him. It's a 0-0 shutout pitcher's duel going on here. And this is how I roll. And I'm very, very happy with how I do things. I'm not going to overmanage. I'm going to let the guys play, and I'll bring a little bit later on. I'll start making a few changes, but I want to minimize the changes because I don't want to bog down the game. I don't like modern games because of that reason. I have to have 18 pitchers in there, 9 for each side, and then it's a slugfest, and you got everybody walking and everybody hitting home runs, and it's just a mess if you're trying to keep track of what's going on. This is much more peaceful and relaxing. That's an 11. That's defense. A defense 62. Let's see what that looks like. This goes up to 65, so it could only be a range. If it's not a range and it's an error third base, that's not going to happen because the number we rolled, 62, is higher. So it's just going to be an out. What kind of an out? If it's a pop-up, I usually make it a line drive. So it's going to be a line drive to third base. I have pop-ups with another modifier, and it works just fine. And you can look on Sideline Strategies for that modifier. Simple modifier. It's just in the last 5 columns, the outs become pop-ups, except for it's pop-up, line drive, pop-up, line drive, pop-up in the last 5 numbers. The last, it'll be 59, 69, 79, 91, 99 would be as I described. And that's, you can go to Sideline Strategies and Delphi, and you can look that up, the pop-up modifier for some of the older seasons. It seems that there are a couple of fewer pop-ups. I don't know if it's true or not. It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other. I don't worry about it. Okay, so there's one out. Warren Cromartie is the batter. Here's the pitch to Cromartie. He's 0 for 2. He's struck out and grounded out. That's a 6. That's in play. An in play 66. That would be a big number in APA. In play 66 versus a lefty. That's going to be an out. That's going to be a ground ball to short. Taveras and picks it up on the run, throws it, and gets Cromartie. Rodney Scott with 2 outs. 6 in play again, an in play 53. And that's going to be a grounder to third. Pull down the line. Hebner, nice grab, and fires to first and gets Rodney Scott to retire the side. We go to the top of the 7th. No score. Exciting game. Rogers versus Coble. Mets at Expos, 1979. 8, tough, 0-4. Oh, that's a strikeout. Eddie Kranepool down on strikes. Joe Youngblood, the batter. He's 0 for 2, flight out twice. 6 in play, 24. Oh, that may be a hit. And it is. Line drive, base hit. So Youngblood, he's on with a single, and we're going to see if we get a lead. We need a 4, and we do get it. So there's going to be a stolen base attempt here. Now he's a C. We got to look and see what this card says. Card says, oh, safe, very good and excellent. I know he's not that because Carter has a 2-arm. A 2-arm is heck of a good arm. And so he's down here, probably a fair, if that, and he's going to be out at second base. So Youngblood gets gunned down by Gary Carter, and it's going to go 2, click on Youngblood, out at second base, caught stealing. It's going to go 2-4. There's a right-handed batter, Flynn, up, so the shortstop is going to hold his position. Second baseman covers, and Youngblood is thrown out by Gary Carter. All right, Doug Flynn, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. That's an 8. It's going to be tough, a tough 60. Tough 60. It's going to be a ground ball second base. Rodney Scott, 4-3. Side retired. We go to the bottom of the 7th, no score. Andre Dawson leading it off. Pitch from Coble, 9. In play, 73. That's going to be a fly ball, center field. Mazzilli on the run, makes the catch. Tony Perez, 9. That's in play, 0-6. And that's going to be driven into the gap. Cut off by Youngblood. Perez going for second. Here's the throw, and he's safe under the tag. A 1-out double by Perez. Puts the go-ahead run in scoring position here in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out for the Expos. And it's Gary Carter. Now the Mets are going to walk Carter, and I'll tell you why. Simply, Carter doesn't bat all that well, but we want a player on first base to see if we can get a double play out of this. So let's do that. Intentional walk to Carter. First and second now. We're going to pitch to Valentine. You know what? I just saw Valentine's average versus lefties, 351. But we're not going to worry about that because we probably didn't know that very well at that time. And so we're going to just let it roll. But hopefully he'll hit a ground ball and it'll work out for us. Let's see what happens. Here's the pitch. That's an 8. That's in play, 74. Oh, that may be just what the doctor ordered here. 74 is going to be, oh, it's a fly ball, center field. Shallow center. Mazzilli comes in, makes the catch. 2 away now. Both runners go back. And it's Larry Parrish. Parrish, 355 versus lefties. It'll be a good time to bring in a right-handed pitcher. All right. You know what? Who pitched in this game? Let me take a quick peek. It was Murray and Bernard. And Murray actually took the loss in this game. So we're going to bring in Murray. And Coble's due up next, so we're going to have to pull a double switch. We're going to have to pull a double switch, and Trevino came in to play second base. So we're going to have to do that. So we're going to bring in Murray to pitch. Right-hander. Coble's out. And now we're going to grab Trevino. He's going to play second base. So we're going to, and I'll show you how to pull a double switch here. It's one of the most complicated things you can do on this. So the first thing I'm going to do in this situation is change the pitcher. Click on Coble, and I'm bringing in Murray. So I'm going to look for Murray. Takes me to the roster. There you go. And it says include offensive sub. No, because he's not going to bat in that situation. Now, I got to switch Flynn for Trevino, so I'm taking out Flynn, and I'm going to put in Alex Trevino. Not a very good second baseman, but he plays second base. And he's not going to replace, he's not going to bat in that position. Now, I click on Trevino and I go offense, and I'm going to put him in the 9th spot. So I got to look, it takes me to who's batting in the 9th spot. It was Coble. But I'm going to look for Trevino, and I'm going to click on him, highlight him, and save. So now you can check it right there. It says Alex Trevino is in the 9th spot. Now, for the pitcher, I'm going to put him in the 8th spot. Offense, 8th spot. It takes me to Flynn because that's who was batting there. I got to look for Murray. Murray, save, done. Double switch. Okay, I'm going to put everybody in their proper place now. So Trevino goes there. And then Flynn is out. The pitcher batting card goes in that spot. So I'll leave it that way. Okay. There we go. All right. So it's a right-handed pitcher who was 4-8 with a 4.82 ERA, and it's versus Larry Parrish, who now bats a more reasonable 2.97. Boy, he had a good season, Larry Parrish. Holy moly. Third baseman. All right. With also 30 home runs besides. Great. First and second, 2 out. Bottom of the 7th, no score. Here's the pitch from Murray, Dale Murray, Mets reliever, to Larry Parrish, the Expos third baseman. That's a 4. That's in play. In play. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna knock it. It's gonna be a 10. That's gonna be a hit. Yep. All right. So versus a righty, a 4, an in play 10. In play 10. That's gonna be a ball that's pulled down the line into the corner. Around to score is Perez. Right after him is Carter. Parrish around second into third. Here's the throw, and he's safe under the tag. A triple, 2 out. 2-run triple by Larry Parrish. We're going to double check that. A 10 versus a righty in play is a triple. Look at that. Larry Parrish connects. Big time. Clutch. Clutch Parrish. And he stops at third with a 2-run, 2-out triple here in the bottom of the 7th. That gives the Expos a 2-0 lead. So both those runs are going to be attributed to Kevin Coble. Here's the pitch to Spire. That's a 9. Ballpark. A ballpark 13. We're going to have a wheelhouse check. 1-22. That ball's gone. And that's an 85. That's going to be a ground ball to short. Taveras up with it. And that retires the side. 6-3. But not before the damage has been done and the Expos take a 2-0 lead. We go to the top of the 8th. The Mets are going to bring up Trevino, Taveras, and Stearns. Rogers still in the game for the Expos. 8. Tough. A tough 64. And that's a ground ball second base. Rodney Scott over to Perez. 1 down. Frank Taveras now who's 2 for 3. That's a 3. That's defense. A 34. Let's see what happens here. It's going to be range second base. Let's see the range at Rodney Scott. Rodney Scott's range at second base is a B. Pretty good range. So that's, I doubt it. Let's see the range B. Oh, 1-35. That under his glove and gets into the outfield for a base hit. The scorer may give him an error on that. Let's see what happens. Nope, he gets a hit. So Frankie Taveras on at first. Now he's not going to be running right now. Not in the 2, not down by 2 in the top of the 8th inning. John Stearns has some power versus righties 1-14 in case there's a wheelhouse. Let's see what happens. Frankie Taveras holds. That's a 9. Patient. A patient 96. Be out range. Fly ball left field. Sky to left. Cromartie there. And puts it away for out number 2. Lee Mazzilli now. Lee Mazzilli's got some power versus righties 1-24. We need a wheelhouse right here. 7 tough, and 81. That's not going to be what we wanted. Fly ball center field. Dawson to his right a few steps makes the catch, and that retires the side. So once again, the Mets leave a runner on. And it's the bottom of the 8th now, 2-0 Astros, and I'm sorry, 2-0 Expos, and it's gonna be Steve Rogers batting. He's a 5. Snake Eyes tough 26, a tough 26. That's a strikeout. Rogers goes down swinging. Cromartie, oh, and that's a 5. In play 67. In play 67. Ground ball to short. Taveras on the run and throws him out 6-3. 2 down. Rodney Scott against Dale Murray. 7. Tough. A tough 69. Tough 69. And that's going to be a ground ball to second. Trevino to Montanez. 3 up, 3 down for Murray here in the top of the 9th. We go to last licks for the Mets. The Amazons. Can the Amazons pull it out? They need 2 to tie and 3 to win. Willie Montanez leads it off. Pitch from Rogers going for a complete game. He completed 13 games, by the way. That's a 7. That's going to be tough. A tough 0-8, and that's a strikeout. Montanez goes down swinging. Richie Hebner now, who's 0 for 3, is grounded out 3 times. That's a 4. Ballpark 58 from a lefty outside of the 1 to 49 range. And we go to in play. So we're going to have an in play roll here. Second roll, in play. That's an 86. That's going to be an out. And that's going to be a ground ball to second. And Scott throws him out. 2 outs. The Mets are down to their last out here in game 105. And it's the Expos leading by a score of 2-0. Steve Rogers 1 out away from a complete game 5-hit shutout. And Eddie Kranepool, who is 0 for 2, he's flat out walked and struck out, is at the plate. Eddie Kranepool, lifelong Met, born and raised in the Bronx, New York. Here's the pitch, 7. Tough. A tough 99. This is where that modifier comes in. That's going to be popped up to the right side. Perez waiting for it, and he makes the catch, and the game is history. So a pretty good game, pretty intense. I had a good time. Didn't expect the Mets to win because they never do. Loss is going to go to Coble. Oh, no save in that one. Evan Coble gets the loss. Put that in, and that's it. If you want to email yourself a box score, you just hit email and you put right in your email. And Mets lose another one, 2-0. I'm going to add a game here. For the next game is going to be the visitors, the Mets. There, and I'll go over the line score before I sign off at Expos. And let's look at the line score on this game. It was the Mets, no runs, 5 hits, no errors, 6 left on base. The Expos, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, and 3 left on base. Coble did a heck of a job, so he can keep his chin up here. And I'll tell you who the pitching matchup is for Game 106 in Montreal. Game 106 is going to be Swan versus Lee. Bill Lee, the spaceman, I believe. So Swanee's coming out. Let's pull Swanee's. Here he is. So the next game is going to be Swan, Craig Swan. What does it say about him? Craig was the National League's ERA leader with 2.43 average in 1978. Wow, he had a great season in 78. And it looks just like him. It's hilarious because it's a funny cartoon of Craig Swan. The pitcher pivot foot must be touching the rubber as he starts his motion. Inside Baseball, it's called. This was a gum wrapper. How cool is that, huh? Wow, the old days, man. All right, Craig Swan. All right, Craig Swan is there. Let's see if we can find Swan's baseball card. So he's going to be, the matchup for the next game is going to be Swan versus Lee. Swan versus Lee. Let's get those two guys out. Bill Lee. There he is. left-hander versus right-hander. Let's look for Craig Swan so you can catch a picture of him. Crane Pool Apodaca. Swan should be, oh, there he is. He's at the bottom. There you go. Craig Swan. Looking good, man. 1980, I believe, set of cards. I bought just the Mets. Didn't need any more right now. So that's it. Craig Swan. All right, guys. I'm signing off. I hope you had a good time with all my entertainment value. And I will see you guys somewhere else at some point soon. Take care now.